And welcome back again to Fun Key French with Monsieur Nile, the English guy who believes he is French. This is part 2 of our session on French verbs in the present tense. It's not too difficult, and this will expand your French immensely and help your confidence in the language to grow. A brief reminder from part 1 is that there are 3 types of French verbs. Verbs ending in ER, IR and RE. These are the equivalent of the English to do something. For example, to speak equals parler. Think of the ER ending as the equivalent of the English word to in to speak. Okay, to form or use the verbs, or as the grammar books say, to conjugate. To form the verbs, you take off the ER, IR or RE and add endings. This part 2 deals with regular verbs, which mean verbs which follow a similar pattern. I will cover irregular verbs in part 3. Remember the word pattern. You only have to learn the pattern once. Then you can apply it to hundreds of verbs. Facile. Quite easy if we apply ourselves, and we will. In part 1 we looked at how to apply the pattern to the regular ER verb parler. Knock off the ER ending and add to the root of the verb, in this case it's P-A-R-L, parle, and add the following endings: E, ES, E, ONS, EZ, ENT. These follow the pronouns je, tu, il and elle, nous, vous, and il and elle in the plural, they. I speak, I am speaking, you speak, you are speaking, he, she speaks or is speaking, we speak, we are speaking, you in the plural or in the formal, polite form, you are speaking, they speak, they are speaking. And don't forget, my little French fries, tu means you in the singular, somebody that you're familiar with, maybe one of your own peer group as well. Whereas vous can be a plural, the plural you, or you singular, somebody in a formal relationship, someone you don't know well, someone you are treating with respect, and call vous until you are given permission to use tu for you. Okay, now we can move on to IR verbs, followed by RE verbs, French verbs ending in IR and RE. Verbs ending in ER tend to be the majority of verbs, but the minority of the IR and the RE verbs are still quite numerous, and you really do need to learn the endings for these. But remember the word pattern. Follow the same pattern for IR verbs. We just knock off the IR and create our root to which we add the endings. And here are the following endings. For je, we add IS. For tu, we add IS. Il and elle, IT. For nous, ils sont. For vous, issez. And for the il and elle, they plural, ISSENT, is. Always an example to help, and this example is finir, the verb to finish. Knock off the IR, so your root is FIN, fin. and then simply add the endings as outlined before. The pronunciation of isn't going to help you too much with the endings, because of course we don't pronounce those endings. We don't say je finis, we say je finis. Il finit, we don't pronounce the T, and so on. Oh, it's so simple, isn't it? Don't forget that the personal pronouns il and elle in the singular and il and elle in the plural can also be translated as subject pronouns. When they are pronouns performing the action in a sentence, this means they translate as it or they. So il or elle can sometimes mean it in the singular. For example, il pleut means it is raining. Not he is raining, it is raining. Les fleurs sont jolies. The flowers are pretty. Elles sont jolies. They are pretty, talking about the flowers. In that case it would be elles plural, E-L-L-E-S. For RE verbs, follow the same pattern. Drop the RE to get a stem, to which you add S, S, nothing, ONS, EZ, ENT. So let's use attendre for our example. A regular RE verb, to wait, and we would get our stem, which is attend, attend, A-T-T-E-N-D, and then j'attends, just add the S, tu attends, add the S to the root, il, elle attendent, nothing to add, just keep the root, nous attendons, vous attendez, il, elle attendent, in the plural, adding ONS, EZ, ENT. Another big piece of help is to remember that the French used the word en a lot. En is spelled O-N. It's the equivalent of the royal one, as in one is happy to be here. One does this. One takes afternoon tea. The French use en a lot, so well worth remembering. The use of en in French may seem complicated, but let's keep it simple. It can translate as nous, as in we. One is happy to see you. We are happy to see you, using en. It also takes the il ending when used in the verb. So, on est d'accord, we agree. One is in agreement. It's the il and the elle if it's meaning one person in that sense, but can also mean nous. On est content, we are happy, but you still use the il or elle part of the verb with en, whether in single or plural. Now, why not practice putting these irregular verbs into the present tense? Jouer, to play. Aimer, to love or to like. Chercher, to look for. Donner, to give. All ER verbs. Those practice with IR verbs. Choisir, a good one, to choose. Réfléchir, to reflect or think about something. And I would suggest for RE verbs entendre, which means to hear but also to understand, and perdre, to lose. Thank you guys, I hope this is helpful. Please look out for part 3 of verbs with fun key French with Monsieur Nile, the English guy who thinks he is French, and I'm just